little blog thing because I couldn't help but notice Carnes was on, and I was like saying to my mum yesterday, I was like, I'm not the same person I was. Yeah, in 2018, you remember when we lost loved ones? I said I had like I just couldn't sit still and be in that vibe, and I googled Carnes and it come up Paris, so I drove to Paris and then drove back and then got on a plane to actual Cannes and was really sort of like I felt like I was a front runner and there was some sort of like I had to be front running a certain ethos of like what community is experienced as opposed to the mainstream and not really communicating. And there was like this massive deficit or something. I don't know if that was driving me, but there was like just drive and ambition sort of thing to get your ass to the relevant places. And I felt like I should be at Cannes and I should be, I had like that. And then I said, oh, I'm not the same person. I wouldn't go running there. I said, why is that? I said, oh, it's probably because 2020, isn't it? And being like attacked at the airport really by plain clothes and stuff. And, it's being put in a cell for 2 days because you're in Bournemouth because you showed that same drive. And it's almost like if anytime I wouldn't go anywhere now on my own for fear of just being attacked or opportunistic Interpol getting their hands on you and putting you in a cell. So I felt that was like a really relevant thing that I was trying to push then, and it's as relevant as it ever was because I still don't watch the main with the same certitude. It's still got that massive deficit between internet and what everybody wants and what everybody's getting, and it's still there. The things that were driving me then, but I would not do it as a lone woman because I just don't feel safe in my world. And I know I'm supposed to go on like, oh, witness, I got the heart of 20 men and shit, but brutal truth of it, no one wants to be in a fucking cell. Nobody wants to be sitting in a cell for 2 days wondering if they're safe in the hands of some systematically abusing institute that's got it all wrong, quite frankly. So it's like you're trying to build outside of it and it's just, nah, anyway. I thought I'd back up my little piece that I did saying this country is a mental institute, but I don't mean like the country, I just mean like as a fabric because people sit in their homes every day listening to that morbidity and your subconscious mind. And it's only after going through a lot of traumatic shit that you go, okay, I'm ready to pass up my ego. My ego was never really that much in play. And I think there's only a handful of people that really gravitate to the material that I've been digesting via other people and agents of light and beauty. And it's like that's a far and few between thing. And I'm grateful for all the stuff that's happened. And I don't hold grudges for it. It's like, okay, if you think you're operating for somebody, I don't know why you would treat somebody like that. So they'd be scared to be in the right place at the right time anymore. I'm not asking for security. I'm not asking for anything else, but I just want to be left alone in the concept of like travelling or being an independent woman or going to places I want to go to. Do you know what I mean? Do you know what I mean? But yeah, thought I'd have that conversation because I wrote a thing once upon a time called Bob Marley Carnes. It was alright, it's okay. I think I write a lot of funny things that are alright. Just as a little artist, always expressing myself here and there. And quite frankly, it's like people, I think, perceive a lot of threat for me, and I perceived a lot of threat and fear vibrations at one point, and it's like, actually, no, popping on through to the other side is where you're like, oh, you shouldn't be scared of actually anything, should you, on the planet? As far as like being outspoken about anything and other cultures, and I still have a very relevant street presence brand thing. It's a charity, and it's the ethos of actually just creating limitless abundance for people. Like, so there's no cut off point of actually what you need, you get. Because I'm pretty sure there's enough funds in the world for that. Like, there should be no person like, oh, you need that right now? You can get that right here, right now. Like, I'm not talking about like, oh, I want to be a millionaire to the homeless person on the street. Oh, there's £1 million house and there's £1 million cars and stuff. I'm not saying that, but I'm saying within reason, like with all the poverty vibes and stuff, like giving people coming over from a war-torn country the same basic opportunities that anybody's got if they're in the know. Not everybody's even in the know, so knowledge is power. So it's like, oh, would you like to go fruit picking? Would you like to go woofing? If you're in a situation where you've just left school and your parents are pressurising you to go to university, do this, do this, do this, do this, which is a lot of demographics. Like, you have to be constantly busy, otherwise you're not worth your salt as a human being, degrading the very majesty of us all. But it's like, if you want to go fruit picking or if you want to go woofing all around the world, that should be an opportunity for everyone just to do the minute they hit UK home soil, right? And I'm saying they obviously they're in databases, so you know who's going where and what. So if you're not doing the fruit picking and you run away from that spot and go running around in the world, it's like if you can pick up this mug at an airport on a beachfront. I know that Interpol's big, and CCTV facial recognition is a massive thing now. So it's not like you're generating any danger in allowing people from immigrants to then go to Mexico or Brazil or Canada or anywhere in the world woofing or fruit picking if you give them the right opportunities just to do that, just to earn maybe a below minimum wage to get an MVQ or something. And it's just like opening up the world in that respect as a street presence. So you're taking the weight off governmental stuff because you're making it all about grassroots up farming or opportunities that just moving and shaking all over the world for the basic person. And that can work for people on a street level. The only people that would be sitting then begging on the street would just be like basic crackhead, convoluted, institutional, convoluted, like bad people just trying to generate money for their own personal gain in your detriment or downfall within drugs institutes and stuff. And they're the bad man. They've got agendas around. And it's like when you see that, it's all big falls from grace in security sense, and you see it on the BBC that the security selling the drugs at the festivals and stuff like that, and you go, okay, yeah, well, first hand, you don't need to tell me that, I've seen it with my own too, and all this stuff. You go, well, the world's crooked and corrupt, and nobody really actually cares, and the police don't actually care about that kind of thing because they're just probably like Ideal, the BBC thing as well. If you ever seen that programme, the comedy, where the policeman's just in with the stoner doing a bong in his lunch break, it's like that sort of ethos. And if you've done town centre warding and you know that people smoke and chung and people are all on weed and stuff within the whole, it's like you get an idea of what's going on. And you just go, live and let live, it is what it is. But it does then become a bit lawless feeling. And then that's when you get scared and go, oh, if plainclothes are going to arrest me at an airport in 2020 because of COVID or whatever their excuses, is it even legitimate or is it just money funded and are you just taking the piss out of my life? Maybe it's the film world because I did a decade on sets and I've seen the money and I've met lots of A-listers. Maybe it's partially that. But you still have to tell yourself the good delusional stuff rather than the negative delusional stuff. And you're still left out in the cold and you're still suffering. And people don't seem to care. And it's like, even your own family don't seem to care. And it's like I'm playing a pool game and I'm trying to actually make it. I don't know if it actually is a legitimate one. It seems like it, but it might. I've only got one day to do tomorrow and I might be able to cash out £8,000 for playing pool for days online. Might be real, might not be, but that's the point. Is I shouldn't be doing that at this lofty late time in life. I should have had a lawyer to sue people for the damages and the stuff that I started this video making as to your confidence or wants to travel as a lone woman, or whether you were just literally intimidated and threatened to an inch of your life within industry institute constructs, and you wouldn't go freewheeling to Cannes and watch. That was a great trip for me because it was a horrible time and I needed some me time, and I was just like hanging out on the beach watching films, and it was on the outside of Cannes, but it was still just something to be proud of, But not to be able to do it and feel scared to do it. Oh, ain't that some shit? That's all I'm saying.